JT, should atheists work with liberal religious folks who have more benign irrational beliefs to counter fundamentalists who have very irrational or maybe dangerous beliefs?
No, they shouldn't. Once more, our enemy is irrationality. As I said in my Skepticon talk, most people are good-intentioned. Even the parents who pray for the death, or who pray for their... Yes. Even Christians who pray their children to death because they believe that God's going to heal them, rather than take them to the doctor, they want their child to get better just as much as, more rational people. The problem is irrational beliefs. They corrupt good intentions. And so when people who are liberally religious, who may even arrive at the same moral conclusions as us, but they arrive at those rational conclusions for irrational reasons, we can't say to them, well, your irrationality is okay just because you agree. That gives license to all the other people who believe things for bad reasons. Bad reason isn't just bad in the hands of some people, it's bad across the board. And if our goal is to remove it from society, we have to be honest with ourselves when people are invoking bad reasoning.
My answer is yes, that we should work with anybody that will work with us on specific issues, because we are not a homogenous tribe of people, and we live in a very eclectic world full of people who are not homogenous on other issues, and that it would be extremely counterproductive to not work with people who agree on particular items and expect, full compliance with all of our anti-religious sentiments. So,
when you say work with religious people, we're not teaching them to be reasonable then. What we're teaching them, as long as you agree with us, it's okay. Which I don't think is a really good message. Our goal is to be out there to teach people to pick up bad arguments and to be more reasonable in constructing their worldview. And if all we're saying to liberal religious people is, you're okay just because we arrived at the same conclusion even though we think your methodology is bad, we're not fulfilling that goal. And I think that's the most important thing.
I think a lot of liberal Christians, as an example, do come to some of their conclusions, some of their moral and ethical conclusions that tend to disagree with the fundamentalists for all of the very same reasons we do. I mean, say gay rights. I mean, they see, functioning, flourishing gay couples, and they don't use reason. They don't use faith-based reasoning. They use the evidence that we tend to use. And so, I don't think that you can unilaterally condemn them for all bad methodology. Oh, and also that channels back into my other point is that they want to be respectfully challenged. I'm not saying that it's okay. You still articulate your perspective on things, and sometimes those are kind of ugly alliances, but at the same time, it doesn't have to be that way. And I lost my train of thought there, but
I have no problem saying that liberal Christians are less dangerous than fundamentalist Christians, or any religious people for that matter. They are. What I'm not prepared to say is that they're more right in some way. In the cases where liberal Christians agree with us on positions like gay rights or stem cell research or something like that, for good reasoning, let it slide. But a lot of times what I'm finding is that liberal Christians disagree with fundamentalists not because their reasoning is better, but just because they think God wants something different. And their reason for believing they have the ear of God are no better than the fundamentalists. And so once more, if we're trying to teach people to be reasonable or trying to spread the idea that irrationality is a bad thing, by letting them get away with that, we're granting license to it. And I think that's detrimental to society as a whole. A society that thrives because reason has received primacy in so many areas.